Hello, welcome to Fibro Warrior, my new normal. I'm MJ Aragon, and I'm here with my producers, Jojo, Myricks, and Tony Jefferies, as well as my co-hosts, Christy Ortiz. And today, our guest is my love, Bill Jubran. Say hi, Bill.
Hi, everybody.
So, today we're going to talk about what it's like for our significant others, being on the other side of our illness and how it affects them and our life in general. So, the first question we're going to ask today, my darling, is how did you feel about my being sick before the fibro diagnosis, before we knew what it was?
Before we knew what it was. I would say frustrated. I was frustrated.
Yeah.
Because things started changing a few years ago, and we didn't really know why. Because you weren't the same person. You were very active, and 5 years ago or so, you had a hard time with everything, but not really giving me an answer to why.
Right.
Right? I mean, you couldn't even sit through watching one of my softball games without saying I have to I have to go to the car or something. I didn't know. Well, I mean, I chalked it up to, you know what? There's always something. You know what I mean? I started to feel a little bitter, not drama, not like you're making it up, but I felt like, okay, there's always something. So, and I didn't break it down much further than that because I know it wasn't really you.
Right.
But I didn't have enough answers. I didn't have any answers.
And in hindsight, you know that it was just sitting on the cement stairs and things like that were just just tough.
I know this now.
And the heat in the summer, or, when it was during the afternoon games, So yeah, it was tough, and I knew that you were questioning it, and I was even questioning myself. Like, did I suddenly become lazy? What's wrong with me? I didn't know what was wrong. So yeah, it was really tough. You had a question, Christy?
Yes, I actually had a few different questions, but the first one was how did that mindset change, if at all, after the diagnosis?
After I found out she did have fibromyalgia, among other things, at first I would still say frustrated, but in a different way. Because I mean, this will be different for most people, but I'm thinking because my ex-fiance had issues. She had fibro, or has fibro, and my ex-wife had all complicated. I mean, had everything. Everything possible wrong. And so I'm thinking, okay, now my love of my life now is it me?
Oh, goodness.
Am I attracting this? Am I causing this? So I didn't know. It was a little frustrating, because I made when we got together, I knew I've always wanted kids, and I made the sacrifice to be with her. She can't have kids anymore. She got her tubes tied, but I made the sacrifice. I said I'd rather be with her and not have kids than be with someone else that I didn't love or love as much with kids. We had a very good quality life. And things started changing. I didn't have that quality life anymore, and we both didn't.
Yes, I know that too well.
Yeah, so I didn't. So it was a little frustration, not blame. There was no blame anywhere. It was just frustration.
Right.
Did you feel guilty, though, afterwards when she was diagnosed? And I'm sorry if this was one of the questions, but was there guilt? Like, oh my goodness, she really is sick.
Yes, there was definitely guilt because like I said, I never blamed her for anything. I just felt like, okay, there's always something.
Exactly.
There's always something wrong. Like, I don't know if it was just guy talk, she's just tripping or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to attribute that to. So, yes, there's guilt, and I apologized to her. I'm like, well, I didn't know. She didn't even know.
Yeah.
So, of course, I felt guilty. Okay, now I know there was a reason for her not being herself.
Exactly.
She was never a lazy person. One thing that attracted me to her was her independence. And then she had a hard time doing things for herself after a time. So,
well, that's along the lines of what I was going to actually ask you is, how did you look at me before and after, meaning when we were first together and things were good, to our life now? Like, has it changed a lot? I mean, now that the diagnosis has been here and you know what's wrong with me, like looking at us in the beginning and looking at us now, what would you say are the differences?
The differences, we're living with this now.
Right.
That's the difference. We are living with this. And
Together.
together. Yeah, weird. That's not.
Yes.
It's not. She's not going through it. We're both going through
Exactly.
it. However, it's not a death sentence. We can still have a quality life together. We can still enjoy a lot of things. It's just going to be some changes.
Right.
And the more we learn about it, about what makes her better, what helps her get better days, the more good days she'll have.
Absolutely. Like things that I eat, for example, we were talking about the last podcast about allergies and such. Changing just the way I eat makes me feel better.
Exactly.
So that's a
Exactly.
that's a big thing.
And I've been eating well, so clean eating, and that's why I'm here today, because I feel decent.
That's good. You look good.
Oh, thank you. Because, okay, how do you handle her having fibro day to day?
How do I handle it?
Yes.
When I for example, when I wake up,
Yes.
A good mood or bad
exactly.
mood.
As I say, her mood.
I know right away.
Okay.
As soon as she gets up, I know right away if it's going to be a good day or a bad day. And it's you learn over time. She gets up and she has a grimace on her face. Her back hurts a lot. She has a migraine. She has something going on or something new. So I can tell right away. She wakes up sometimes with a smile. I know she had a good night's rest.
Yes.
And I know it's going to be a good day. And we just try to build on that. Let's go get some sushi. Let's go get some sunshine. Let's go build on that.
Exactly.
So it's basically day to day.
It's day to day. I mean, her good days can be out of nowhere. Her bad days can come out of nowhere.
Exactly.
She can have 6 straight good days, and then you think everything's fine, and then she'd have a horrible day after that.
Yep.
Right.
So there is no, there's no way of determining this. There's no way of predicting any of this.
Right.
Correct.
I actually touch on that. The blog I just posted on Thursday, I talk about how we can't really plan in advance because
Yes.
we never know how we're going to feel from day to day.
Exactly.
Babe, a lot of relationships don't last after a diagnosis like mine or mine and Christy's. Why do you think ours has stood the test even after 10 years together?
We're not quitters. Seriously, I mean, you could be like you have a loved one that has complications. You could either be a man and take care of it, take care of your girl, or you could be a coward and run away from this. Or you could be like Newt. Seriously, you could be like Newt Gingrich, and who just divorces every wife has an illness.
Right.
We have something worth saving.
Yeah.
And I saw how hard you fought. You fought every day. You were never a quitter. And I would say if you quit in any way, if you were just, that would make it easier for me to quit on you. And seeing you fight, I'm fighting with you.
Thank you, babe. I appreciate that.
That's great, because you don't see that too often.
No, you don't.
You don't see that too often. I mean, I've been with my husband. We've been together for 25 years. We've been together, but we've been married almost 18.
Yeah.
And it definitely was a struggle at first. It was a very I started crying the last podcast about this. It's a struggle.
Absolutely.
It's a struggle day to day, because you don't know how you're going to feel, and then you feel guilty because they have to deal with it too. So you have to work together as a team.
That's all it is.
Absolutely.
You have to think, would this person do this for me? Would my loved one do this for me?
Yep.
Hell yeah, she would do it for me. She wouldn't even think about it.
I mean, I look at our relationship as a whole, not just with me being sick now, but I think about our beginning to our end. Like, we became friends first. We were friends first. And I think that, I'm not saying this works for everybody, but I think that gives a really strong basis for a relationship, because you get to just be yourselves from the beginning. There's none of that trying to put on your best face and put your best foot forward. You just get to be yourself. And so us being together, it just kind of naturally happened. It wasn't like we were trying to force anything. And so I think that through every step of the way, through every level of our relationship, that we've just kind of fought through the hard times easier than most people could. We still found a way to love each other and be sweet to each other, even when we were stressed beyond all stresses. And, money, unfortunately, you need money to live and survive. And so that is usually a big problem for most relationships, where people don't make it through that.
Yes.
If someone loses a job or someone gets sick and there's no more money coming from one person to the other, that ends a lot of relationships. And I'm thankful to say that I have this awesome man in my life who stood by me no matter what, you know, and we made it through the toughest times. We're doing okay now, but not too long ago, we were really struggling, you know, so I'm thankful to say that we were strong through it all, you know.
You know, and for myself and my husband, I feel like my illness has brought us closer. Definitely brought us closer.
Right.
So I'm glad to see the same with the two of you.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yes.
It's wonderful. What advice would you give to a fibro warrior significant other?
You're talking to me.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because it doesn't only affect women. Fibro health affects
Right.
men
So,
and women.
so that's
But
why
I mean, significant other. Okay.
Yes.
What advice would I give them? The good days, try to make the most of the good days. Okay. I try to fill her with the natural things that make her happy. You know, take her to the beach. She loves the beach.
Yes, my favorite.
Simple
me too.
thing is taking a walk down the road, sunshine. You know, natural endorphins right there.
Definitely.
I don't want her in bed all the time. When you're in bed, you get depressed. You're locked in your house. You're locked in your room.
True.
I know it's hard to get her up sometimes. Try to get her up. Come on, babe. Let's go get some sushi. I couldn't afford the damn sushi, but you know what? Let's go have sushi. It'll cheer her up, put a smile on her face, and whatever it take. And also keep busy. I mean, this podcast you're doing right now is awesome. It's
Yes.
keeping her occupied.
Yes.
She has a new feeling of
Purpose.
purpose. Exactly. And yeah,
We're so proud of you.
yeah. I am proud of you, babe. Doing an excellent job so far.
Second round of applause.
Thank you.
Secret things.
Aw.
Yes.
Yeah, I
So yeah,
appreciate
definitely. I mean, if you both parties have to be fighting for it.
Yes.
Okay, like if one person's quitting, the other one's gonna quit too. You know, so
that. Yeah, because the one person's feelings about you affects you in such a way that
Right.
it's easy to, if you said you were going to leave me, I could imagine it being easy for me to go to the dark side. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I feel like it's my fault. It's all my fault.
Yep.
Even though I didn't ask for this
Yes.
disease, Fibro picked me. I didn't pick it. But you still feel like this is your fault. You know?
Exactly.
And
another piece of advice I would say, and this is something I learned about 3 or 4 years ago. You know, she's having all these diagnoses. She also had the skin cancer too. She also had that, and she had a few things, and everything seemed to compile on top of each other within a short period of time.
Yeah.
And bad news after bad news. She would never answer her phone because it could be the doctor.
Yeah.
You know, so she lived with
No
that
more
for a
bad
while.
news.
Yeah.
Yeah, no more bad news. She couldn't take any more.
Yeah.
And you know, she'd be in tears, and I'm trying to. The natural response is to console her. You know, do what you can. It'll be okay. We'll get you the best. You know, give whatever cliche, no matter how authentic it is. Sometimes you need to let them just be.
Yes.
Give her space. Sometimes she needs to cry.
Yeah.
Just let her. You know what? Let me absorb what's going on with me, instead of me sugarcoating it or something.
Yes.
Just give her space. And be there when she needs me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Because it is emotional for, you know, for us having the chronic illness, but it's hard on the spouses.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard on the whole family, the children. I mean,
Right.
so you're a good guy.
Yeah, we definitely learned together, because when he was trying to be sweet and honey, it's gonna be okay, that used to make me angry a little bit, because I'm like, you don't know that. Stop telling me that. That's not the truth. I want you to be truthful with me. Right now, all I need from you is telling me I'm here for you and love me and just take me in, and not tell me it's gonna be okay, but just be here in the moment with me, because sometimes that's all we need. We need someone to be there in the moment with us and not tell us everything's gonna be okay, because nobody can really predict the future. Who knows
Pretty
how
much
okay.
hurt together almost.
Exactly. No,
Hurt-
exactly.
feel what she's feeling and deal with it together, instead of saying it'll be okay, and I'll do whatever I can for you. She needs to cry sometimes.
Yes,
She needs to accept what her, I don't want to say fate is, but yeah.
Right.
She
Because
needs to absorb the reality of this,
Right.
instead of me sugarcoating it and hiding it.
Yep.
So sometimes she needs to cry. Okay, I'll give you space.
And it's not easy, but having, you know, somebody there by your side is very important.
Yes, absolutely.
Very
I
important.
wanted to read something real quick that I had. This part is in the blog that I wrote, but this part is just talking about our everyday battles. So it goes, Every day is a battle for me, or us, fiber warriors, in some form or another. It's either the all-over pain that could just suddenly take your breath away, or the need to get up and start your day, but your body just doesn't feel like cooperating, or the depression that sets in for some reason, and sometimes for no reason at all, or the need to get anything mentally challenging done, but your brain is on strike. I could go on. No, seriously, I could. And if you're one of my fiber warriors reading this right now, I know you understand the struggles with living life one day at a time. There is no making plans in advance because we have no idea how we'll be feeling from one day to the next. So we miss out on so much with our family, our friends. But I'm still fighting to live, fighting to laugh, fighting to love, and most of all, fighting to be heard. Hear me. I am not well. No, I'm not. But I am here, I am strong, and I am determined to spread fibromyalgia awareness and retain the belief that we will find a cure someday. You are not alone. Love you guys. So that's the end part of my last blog I posted.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thanks, babe.
Got teary-eyed again.
Oh.
I thought I wasn't going to cry this time.
It's okay.
That was great. No, I know it is. It's important for our listeners to know they are not alone.
Yes. I think that, I try to keep a positive spin on everything. Like, even when I'm talking about the things that are difficult, I still try to highlight in some small way, the fact that we can still fight and we still have somewhere to be, that we don't have to give up. We can
Exactly.
still make the best of our situation. So I am real, and I do talk about things like depression and things like that because it's important. It's important to know that there's other people that are feeling like you. So when you're reading someone else's depression, you're realizing, yeah, I feel that too. And I understand that. And I know that. So knowing that someone else is going through that same thing, even though you may not know them or ever meet them, just knowing that you've read someone else's story, that you connected to it. Yes. And it makes you feel safe.
Exactly.
You don't feel like you're all by yourself in the dark anymore. You feel like there's someone else that gets you. And so that's why I talk about those things that are very touchy subjects to talk about. It's a little more prevalent, I think, these days, especially with internet and everything. People can talk about this more freely.
Yes.
But there was a time when talking about depression, I would never have told a person, not one single person, that I had depression because they think negative things, and I didn't want people to look at me like, oh, I feel sorry for you, or that I'm crazy, or or whatever multitude of things that people would say.
Yes.
I just avoided
It was
talking
more of
about
a personal struggle that you
Yeah.
just kept to yourself.
So keeping that to yourself all these years, to myself all these years was not an easy thing. I battled every day to stay here on this earth and be here and be here for my kids and my loved ones and my love of my life here, Bill. And I had to think positive. I had to keep the positive thoughts because that was the only thing that kept my head up, because I can't take antidepressants. And so, I had to do it all on my own. And so it's important that if you feel that way, that you do talk to somebody if you're depressed, and know that it's okay to talk about it. You don't have to keep it to yourself anymore. It's important. And I brought this up on a couple podcasts because this is a really difficult thing. This is probably one of the most difficult things about fibromyalgia or rheumatoid arthritis or lupus. Is just the depression, the times that you're so sad and so down and you think that this is it. You have to remember it's not it. There's still tomorrow. There's still something else you can do. Tomorrow could be a better day. Try to think of the positive things and the reasons to be here. It's really important. So if you're ever feeling that depressed or you think you can't take it anymore, please reach out and talk to somebody, even us. You can message us or email us or whatever. But please talk to somebody. It's really important. We all have a reason to be here.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Well, I always say positive mind equals a positive body. I tell myself that every single day.
yeah.
It's very important.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you. So, was there anything that you were thinking about, Jojo, that you were wondering
Questions?
about as far as the spouse and dealing with someone ill?
No, not off the top of the head. He pretty much answered everything I was wondering about.
Yeah.
Like, he answered a lot of questions. I can't think of anything right now.
What about you, Tony? Is there anything you were thinking of?
No.
Okay. So, on a week-to-week basis, I try to think about all the things that we deal with fibromyalgia. And, Christy, of course, that there's so many things connected to us. So we deal with things like migraines and like vertigo and tinnitus. And if you don't know what those things are, vertigo is your equilibrium's off. You can't. Sometimes you feel like you're gonna just fall right over because your equilibrium is off. And tinnitus is like a ringing in your ears. Sometimes the sound will just totally disappear. And I have that all the time. And I've come to just deal with it because it's always there. I can't even, if it's noisy, let's say, and people say, oh, put earplugs in. The noise in my head is almost as bad as the noise on the outside. When I put those earplugs in, all I hear is the ringing.
I actually
or
had
the
that earlier.
Sound in my ears, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
And it doesn't go away. And then the vertigo, it comes and goes, but I used to love going to amusement parks. I love the scary rides and all that stuff. And, now I have to be careful because my neck is in bad shape. I have vertigo. So things I would normally, I'll go stand on the edge. Like we're going to go to Arizona and go see the Grand Canyon.
Oh, nice.
And back in the day, I would have totally been on the edge like, hey, check it out. Now I can't do that because I don't know if my body's going to just go, hey, fall right over the cliff. You know what I'm saying?
No,
So
I know exactly.
So we deal with things like that. And then, of course, lupus, it has its own set of things. Like, for example, what would you say lupus in itself, what is it? How does that affect you?
Oh my goodness. Well, actually, you were talking about theme parks. I have 2 boys and we're a very active family, and it's very hard because mom doesn't feel good most of the time. And so when we go to the theme parks, I have, the same thing, vertigo. I can't go on the rides. So I'm like the party pooper. I have to stand off to the side, but I'm still there with the kids. So I have to remember the positive.
Right.
I'm still there with the kids. I'm still trying to enjoy the moments. We went to Grand Canyon, same thing. With lupus, I have so many overlapping diseases, unfortunately. I mean, one day it could be a migraine. The next day, I didn't sleep all night. The next day, cognitive. The last, 3 weeks, I've had trouble with my memory. I mean, I have the fibro fog all the time. They call it lupus brain and fibro fog. So it's the same thing, but, different terms.
Right.
I can't remember. I mean, I feel bad for my kids. I feel bad for my husband because I can't find my keys, or I left a pan on the stove the other night and I was boiling water. Yeah. So I forget the simplest things.
Right.
So that's hard. And, the aches and the pains, and every single day it's something different.
Is there anything lupus specific that affects you the most? Like things you can eat or can't eat, or, because I know that has something
Well,
to do with it.
during the summer, it's hard because I can't go outside that much because of the sun. The sun
Right.
affects me. I break out in a rash, or I feel like I'm going to faint.
Right.
That's one of the big ones during the summer. During the winter, it's the fibro, the pains from the fibro, the aches and pains, some days I can't get out of bed. As far as foods, if I eat clean, if I stay away from gluten, dairy, processed foods, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
I actually put my lupus in remission for 2 years.
Did you?
Yes.
Just by changing
Just
things
by
you're eating?
changing. The doctors were blown away. They didn't realize my ANA rate actually went down. So diet definitely.
So what exactly is remission? Like, what does that mean? It kind of.
It could mean
It's kind
different
of like,
things for different people. For me personally, when I say remission, I still have the disease, but it's not
It's
as
not advanced.
active.
active.
Right,
It's not
it's kind of slow.
correct.
Down.
It's not as active. So, for instance, I say I'm in a lupus flare. I might need to be on more medications, a steroid. I can't get out of bed. I'm at the emergency room. And then I'll go through a period where if I'm careful with what I put in my body, nothing toxic, then I feel so much better. Right. My brain's clear. My body feels better. So remission, basically you still have the disease, but it's put on hold, I guess. That's the only way
It's kind of the opposite of... rheumatoid's the same way. You can go into remission. It's kind of the opposite of having fibro flares. Like fibro can be kind of this way, and then all of a sudden you'll have a really bad day.
Yes.
No matter
Where-
what. Like,
yeah.
that's
No,
just gonna happen.
exactly.
And
So you can go into remission with fibro.
no, you can't go into remission with
can
fibro.
you go
There's just
back
highs
down
and lows.
stages?
Yeah, there's highs and lows.
So you know how you're saying there
No,
were
when you
stages?
increase the stages, no. When you increase,
you can never go back to
you
the
don't
next
get to
stage.
go back
No,
down,
no.
unfortunately. No, but so it's kind of an opposite in that effect. So rheumatoid and lupus, you can have a moment where you're not feeling the effects of it.
Yes.
It
Right.
hasn't gone away by any means. It's just
Right,
it's basically laying dormant. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the
Exactly.
word I was
Yes.
thinking of.
Exactly.
Bill, babe, you've even seen moments when from how I eat, how much better I feel.
It's night and day.
Yes.
It's a world of difference.
Yes.
You know, when we had money problems not too long ago, we had to eat cheap stuff.
Right.
We had to eat the pastas, the things that whatever
Ramen and
Yes.
ramen, yeah, of course, and the pastas and order pizzas and stuff. And that's not your healthy diet right there. I can eat it
No.
because I'm trying to gain weight, but
I've slept even more. Like when I was eating that stuff because I felt so
Yeah.
terrible.
Yes.
I slept
You're
more.
sluggish. And
she was more lethargic, definitely.
Yes. Yeah.
But you know, it was a cheap food that we
Yeah.
can afford. You know,
Exactly.
at the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now she's eating better. She's doing better. Didn't she lose like 10 pounds recently? In the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just by eating.
changing your diet.
And I wasn't even trying. That was the funny thing. I didn't even realize. I was like, why am I gaining?
She just ate. She's
and I
just
went
eating
and weighed
avocados.
myself. Yeah.
She's been eating avocados and
The cherry tomatoes.
the cherry
and
tomatoes, avocados, and what else were you eating?
romaine
And the
spinach
yogurt.
and
Yeah.
Brain
yogurt.
food.
And yogurt. Even though
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to have dairy, the yogurt actually I eat it because it does keep me regular. I hate to say that, but it does. It keeps everything working properly. Because I'm not supposed to have dairy, but you know what? If I don't have dairy and I don't have that something that's making me be regular, then it makes me feel bad.
Exactly.
I feel bad.
Well,
So
a
it
few
helps.
years back, we were talking about clean eating. A few years back, some of my friends, they just noticed a change in me. Like, oh my gosh, Christy, you lost weight, you have more energy. I haven't heard you saying that you went to the emergency room.
Right. Yes.
And they wanted to know what I was doing. Like it was some magic pill. I'm like, oh, I'm just clean eating. So I started teaching clean eating classes. And so many people don't understand when you put these chemicals in your body, what it does.
That's why I try to avoid processed things. Anything
Exactly.
processed. Well, corn's one of the big things
Yes.
that I'm allergic to, and it's in everything. You would be surprised how corn is in everything because they give it different names.
Exactly.
So unless you know all the names, you don't even know if corn's in there because it has so many different names.
Exactly.
But it's in anything processed, pretty much corn is in it.
Exactly.
You have to really check.
There
What do Lewis
is-
Black say? There's corn and green beans.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
That's right. Yep.
There is a lifestyle change. It's I don't want to say the diet word, but it's called AIP, Autoimmune Protocol Diet. And basically, a lot of people are familiar with paleo. It's similar to that, but you're cutting out some of the foods that cause inflammation.
Right.
And it's amazing some of the stories that you hear.
I know turmeric is really good
Yes.
for helping with inflammation.
Yes, it is good. It is. Do you do like the golden milk? and
I've
the-
actually taken the turmeric root myself and boiled it in water, cut it up and boiled it in water and drank a tea.
Oh, yum.
And that actually helped a lot.
Yum.
That and ginger, I mixed them together.
Oh, I started juicing again.
Did you?
I started juicing this morning, and I have the ginger, and I think that's why I feel better today. Juicing is good for you too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
You guys ever get juice from what's the place? Roots, right?
Yes. Yes.
That
Yes.
place is great.
Yeah.
You
Where's
ever
that?
To the juice bar.
It's
Right by the mall, like next to World Market.
Oh, okay.
it's called Organic Roots.
Organic
Okay.
roots, yeah.
Organic Roots, and
We're in Marietta, Temecula area, by the way.
That's
in case
what-
you're wondering.
Yes.
In case you're wondering what place we're talking about, that's where we are.
Yes, we do enjoy the wineries, but it's nice to go to the health food
Yeah.
stores too.
I don't have too much alcohol. Very rarely. I had some on Valentine's Day with Bill, but I just alcohol just affects me. I don't know if it's allergy related or if it's just generally not good for people who have fibro or whatnot. But I know that when I drink, if I do have something to drink, I feel terrible the next day for days, and so I just avoid it. I
It
really
is
don't.
true. With fibro, it does affect you. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, hopefully I'm pronouncing this right, it's the sulfates. And I will get a migraine,
Yeah.
depending on what it is that I...
And I don't need any help. I get migraines
Right?
often enough, so
Right?
I'm not trying to trigger one because of my stupidity.
Is there anything you drink
Yes.
that can be worse, that makes it worse?
Oh, my
Or
goodness.
better, or not as bad?
So as far as alcohol?
Yeah. What do you drink that's really,
Oh,
that you really feel it the next day?
Goodness, we're supposed to be talking about health
Yes.
foods, not
Okay.
alcohol.
Yeah. Okay. What?
Avoid the bad
Okay.
things.
What can you drink alcohol wise that doesn't make you feel terrible? How about that?
Since I have a lot of back pain and hip pain, and normal medication, say for instance somebody would take a Tylenol, Advil, whatever, pain medicine doesn't work for me. So if I have a glass of wine or maybe a beer or two, it actually, I guess, relaxes me, and the pain isn't as bad. So occasionally I will have a drink.
That's the only reason I'll have a glass of wine because it'll instantly make me sleepy. I'll be so tired. So I'm like, you know what? I need to sleep, and I'm having trouble sleeping. Once in a blue moon, if we'll go out to eat, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have a glass of wine because I'd like to go home and go to sleep. So on those occasions, but I do prefer, my body, I should say, prefers the white wines as opposed to the red wines because I think I'm allergic to more things that are in there.
Exactly.
So.
And the reds, if I'm not mistaken, have more of the sulfates.
Sulfates.
Correct.
It's funny because my job is making
Yes.
wine now, so I
Yes.
know exactly what you're talking about. And we do things called additions, and you're saying sulfates, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
I didn't know, Mr. Winemaker.
Oh yeah,
over
we
there.
talked about that a while
Yeah.
back.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Here for a couple months,
So I know you were asking about if something that I drink affects me more. It reminded me not of alcohol, but dairy. I cannot do dairy. I was on the AIP, the autoimmune protocol diet, for 4 years. I did not touch anything dairy at all, except grass-fed butter. And this last year, I've been introducing things, not regular milk, but heavy cream. Heavy cream didn't affect me. And I felt
Why do you
like,
think that is?
this is great. It's processed differently.
Ah.
But the last 2 months, every time I drink heavy cream, like say for instance Starbucks, usually I do coconut milk. Well, I've tried the heavy cream. Not only do I get not a headache, a migraine, brain fog.
Really?
Brain fog. So of course I like to research to find out, okay, does this happen to other people?
Right.
It happens to other people.
Yeah.
So dairy can affect you neurologically, especially if you have any type of autoimmune.
I drink what's it? International Delight or something? The
Yes,
cream, the sweet
International-
cream. The sweet cream one is my favorite one. That one I don't seem to have any reaction to that. So I put that in my teas and stuff. If I don't put the cream in my tea or coffee or something, that will have reflux. So I have to,
Really?
so I have to put that cream in there.
Something
Otherwise,
to coat.
I have to. It's silly. It's silly to have to do some of these things I have to do. And I know that we're technically not supposed to be drinking caffeine, but honestly, if I don't have caffeine, I mean, if it wasn't for caffeine, there's a lot of things that wouldn't get done because
Yes.
I literally have a
Like
coffee
me.
machine in the bedroom. Yeah, like you. Yeah, Bill's been noticing the effects of not having coffee. He was like, "Why am I so tired?"
That's not what I meant.
I know, honey. I was
Okay.
trying to.
Yeah,
smooth
we were
it.
trying to
I was
change the
trying to
subject.
smooth over that. I was trying to smooth over that.
That's what
Smart.
happens when you have your honey on.
Yes.
Talk about things that didn't get done.
Yes.
That's a different job, honey. It's a different job. Behave.
So as far as I'm going to change the subject,
Yes.
no.
Yes, I thought I changed it pretty smoothly.
Usually
but-
my husband's
and
the
he
one that
had to-
says things like that.
I changed it smoothly, and he still had to no, that's not what it.
That's why we love him. And you know what? That actually brings up if my husband says the funniest things sometimes that are, I look at him and roll my eyes like, really?
Say hi, Gabriel.
Hello, everybody.
Yes, my husband's here tonight too. He actually drove me to the podcast. Had no idea what the podcast was about tonight. So it's awesome though that he's able to be here and hear this from another man.
You didn't know that this was what it was going to
Yeah,
be
I
about?
thought I sent you.
No, MJ. No, MJ told me, but I didn't share it with Gabriel.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
right.
I didn't share it with my husband.
Okay. We
Yes.
thought you meant you didn't
No,
know.
sorry,
Okay. He didn't
sorry.
know.
That's probably how it came out.
Yeah.
Because the whole brain
Well, I was
fog.
going to say how cool it was, like, because things just fall into place. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
it's just, I always pay attention to those.
No,
things.
that's awesome. And I thought, you know what? This is exactly how they fall into place. I'm like, this
Right.
is a great podcast for him to attend.
Yeah.
I think obviously it's important for the females to have a support group, but people do not think that the husbands need support too.
Or the wives, because
Exactly.
there are guys that have
Exactly.
fibro and rheumatoid, but
Yes.
it's a smaller percentage, of course.
Yes.
But they're still out there, so we still
Yes.
have to,
Yes.
acknowledge
Well, my
that.
son, he turned 17 on Monday.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He has fibro.
Yes.
And it started he was about 2 years old. Very long story, but basically the doctors kept telling me it was growing pains. And
That's what they tried to tell me.
Yeah, and I remember you touched on that too. Growing pains for how many years? So yes, he was diagnosed with the fibro, and it's hard and I'm not going to get into it too much because I don't want to start crying. It's hard that, gosh, I get emotional. It's hard that I have to deal with it, but to see what he has to go through as a teenager,
Right.
it's as a young child too, but as a teenager, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's
Is it
really,
any
really hard.
easier for him catching it at a younger age?
Easier? I wouldn't say it's
Not
easier.
easier,
No,
but I
as
mean,
being
both of you
diagnosed-
learned about it in your 40s.
Yeah, you begin to.
So you mean is it easier because he knows what's wrong with him?
Yeah.
Not that he hasn't-
Medically.
Yeah, but he
that
knows.
they caught it
Okay.
earlier
Okay.
than it.
I thought
than
you
they did
meant
for you
having
guys.
it. I thought you were referring to having it as a young age. Is that better? But you mean knowing right away?
Well,
Yes.
with some diseases, it is earlier. It is good to catch earlier on.
Like rheumatoid.
Correct. Correct. With fibromyalgia, honestly, there's not a whole lot that you can do about it. The clean eating, there are medications, but a teenager, you don't want to be on medications.
No.
So to answer your question, I think since I have it and my mother has it and my sister has it, he's upset with me because why did you have me, Mom, if you knew that I was going to have fibromyalgia? I didn't know that I have fibromyalgia till after I had him.
Right.
And so that is not easier. Catching it, though, not catching it, but the doctor diagnosing it earlier, he has a better chance of, how can I word it? Like eating, if he's eating,
He'll have a better
correctly.
life because he knows
There
what's
you
wrong and
go.
he can eat properly.
Correct,
Yes,
correct.
that's what I wish I had. That's why I wish I had known earlier. Because even though I was eating healthy, there were still some things I was eating that I shouldn't have been
Yes.
eating. So yeah, it would have made a big difference.
Yes, exactly.
I worry that maybe my kids might end up with it, but because it's not as prevalent in boys, I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping that I'm lucky. But I know that it's a concern for my kids.
Yes.
Are they going to have some of the things I have? And I just happen to get lucky and get everything bad from both sides of my family. So I'm like,
You're
"Oh,
not the
thank
only one,
you."
girlfriend.
So, I do worry that,
Yes.
they might have to deal with that someday. I know they have my arthritis and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like they've gotten that. But, I hope that they don't get this stuff because this is
Yeah.
awful. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Not that I have one, but
No.
I
He
wouldn't.
also has the RA too. And I think some days it's hard for him to deal with the fibro. And then other days it's hard to deal with he has reactive arthritis. So yeah, it's every day, like I said, it's a struggle. But, I'm glad that I'm able to communicate with him and we can share things. Like I don't tell him that I don't feel good, but I can see he's moving around and I'm like, oh. So we have this joke, we're like, rain's a coming. And everyone's looking at us like, what the heck are you talking about? Our bones hurt.
Yeah.
It's going to rain. Watch. 2 days from now, it's going to rain.
But even with that, though, I prefer the coolness. Like when it gets warm, the heat
Oh,
kicks
yes.
my butt.
Yes.
I really
yes.
really feel bad.
And for our, it's very hot where we live at, Temecula, Marietta.
Yes.
It's either cold or it's warm, so it's very hard
Yeah,
on
it's
our bodies.
extreme, one extreme to the next.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Bill also has arthritis in his joints and stuff. We both take meloxicam. And
Oh, okay.
Doesn't it make a world of difference?
Meloxicam is great.
Yeah.
It works awesome. I don't even have to take, because I still play baseball and basketball and golf. And
Oh, great.
I'm 44. My window for playing competitively is closing, so I get out and play as much as I can. And I have back and knee issues, but, this isn't about me.
Sucks getting old.
but-
Sucks getting old.
You know what? Yeah, I never really listen to doctors, but
Yeah.
no, meloxicam, when I take that, I don't even need Advil.
Yeah, it does. Help.
That's great.
For my back or my knees or my joints or anything.
And we've been taking it for quite a
I've
few
been
years,
taking
and
it
it's
for a
still
while.
working.
There's really no side effects. A doctor gave it to me relatively easily, and I know because I
do
used
know-
to take a lot of Advils
Well,
and
I do,
ibuprofens.
Yeah, I do know that they say, like for me, Grace, I still have to take Advil for some of my breakthrough pain. So they say to be careful of that. So I notice, not to be too technical or direct, but if I have too much Advil and I'm taking meloxicam and all that,
Yes.
my pee will change.
Yes.
It'll be stronger and darker. So
Yes.
as soon as that happens, I know, okay, I need to drink more water and stop
Yes.
taking Advil for a while.
Yes.
Because it's really difficult for our kidneys and
It's hard on our liver and our
liver.
kidneys.
Yeah, so,
Exactly.
So as soon as that happens, I'm like, okay, I need to, be careful. So because I am stubborn about how much Advil I take.
Yes.
But I notice that even just taking because I have to take 4 at a time. So even if I had to do that twice in one day, I'll know the next day that my pee will be there. So I have to be very careful.
And it's important to listen to our bodies.
Yes.
So
it
good.
is important.
Yes.
Yes, very important. I just wanted to, reiterate that if you have a spouse or family members or anyone, that doesn't really quite get what you're going through and they think that you're just making it up, that what you're feeling isn't real, and because you don't have proof and you can't physically see it, send them here. Let them hear Bill talk about what it's like to be on their side, and the difficulty it is, but then the fact that you can come to an understanding if you care about each other enough and you really want to work and be together, and that's important to you, that person that's in your life is going to try if you also want to try. So it's not always just about them not wanting to. You both have to try. It's a dual project. It's not just one tries and the other doesn't. It's never going to work that way. So send them this way and have them listen to this. So maybe it might help them understand that there's a lot of people dealing with this, not just you. Yes. You're not the only one. There's so many of us. I wanted to thank Christy for being here today.
Thank you. I always enjoy it.
Yes. And my love, Bill Jubran, who, I didn't mention this earlier. I'll mention real quick that he's a comedian as well. So,
I couldn't tell.
His little sarcastic little.
Actually, you met him on one of my shows.
Yes, I
Is that what you
did.
mentioned?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And so thank you, love, for being on here.
No,
I
it's my
appreciate it.
pleasure. However I can help, you know that.
Yes, absolutely. I'm very, very lucky to have such a good man in my life. I'm very lucky. All right, you guys, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you once again for listening, liking, sharing our podcast, listening or watching the vlog and reading the blog. The podcast every week. I'll post it on Saturdays. On our Facebook page, Fibro Warrior, My New Normal, I will post the blog and the vlog there as well. The blog's every 2 weeks. Just posted one on Thursday. And the vlog is once a month. And I will post that on Fridays. So, once again, remember, you are not alone. Love ya. Love ya. Love ya.